Let's take you to Kumasi, where a monarchical historian, Adam Manshia Palace, Osebo Susafo Kantanka, has accused leader of the UPP, Akwesi Adai Odike, of staging last week's attack on his office. This follows reports that Odike had accused the chiefs of Manshia of engaging in illegal mining. The former flag bearer's office was subsequently ransacked and vandalized by suspected thugs in the course of last week. But the monarchical historian at the Manshia Palace, Osebo Susafo Kantanka, is skeptical about the report he spoke on the AM show. But we'll take you to Nana Iyao Jima, who's standing by with update on whether or not the meeting that was expected to happen today has happened. Nana, thank you so much. What can you tell us about this meeting? Has it started yet? All right, so we're taking you to Kumasi to find out the update on the closure of Oyerepa FM. We understand that the station was asked to shut down in the wake of this whole accusation by Odike that Manshia has sat down and has watched on for Galamsey to destroy a lot of forest there. But monarchical historian at the Manshia Palace, also Bonsusafo Kantanka, is accusing Akwesi Adai Odike of staging the attack on his office. He was speaking on the AM show Monday morning.
I strongly believe that Odike staged a drama. So he's the first suspect.
Please clarify. Are you saying he staged the attack?
Sure, I'm confident until it has been proven that he did not stage a drama. It is a drama.
Mr. Kantanka, Safo Kantanka, I want to understand this clearly. You see the footage there of his party office vandalized, bullets going through cars. In fact, one of his men was hit by a stray bullet with these, young thugs attacking the premises, chanting, looking for him. You say you think it was staged?
Yes, I think so. I think it was staged, and Odike could easily do that.
But based on what would you make this assertion?
It should be the first suspect. When somebody reports a case, you do not take it just because he has reported. He himself is a suspect.
So let's take you back to Kumasi now and join my colleague Nana Iyao Jima to find out the update on this particular meeting, whether or not it has come on or not. But commenting on the development with particular reference to the shutting down of the Oyerepa FM in connection with the incident, lecturer at the School of Communication Studies, Professor Audrey Gajepo, says the chieftaincy institution has not come to terms with upholding the ideals of democracy. Professor Gajepo said, like all other institutions, the chieftaincy institution is not about criticism and they should not be seen to be overstepping their bounds in the democratic regime. She also spoke on the AM show.
Our democratic right as citizens says that we can express ourselves so long as we don't libel people, so long as we don't slander people. We can criticize even authority. The chieftaincy institution is an authority, but so are our governments. So we can criticize our politicians, we can hold them accountable without fear of being sanctioned for doing that, without fear of intimidation. However, because I think that, in my opinion, a lot of the chiefs have not lived up to the democratic ideal. Their conception of democracy has been limited in the sense that they're enjoying the dividends of democracy, of course, but then when it comes to certain aspects of democracy that is tough, like criticizing a chief who you think is gone out of bounds, or the institution, then or doing something within a jurisdiction that they don't like, then they overstep their powers. So closing down a radio station or even telling a radio station, you cannot say this about me when what they're saying is not illegal, becomes a problem. in the democratic society. You know, banishing people. We are in a constitutional democracy. We've had chiefs banish people from their jurisdiction. Meanwhile, our constitution says there should be freedom of movement. Right. And we've sat by and listened to chiefs issue bans on citizens because their behaviors are seen as unacceptable.
Now, still speaking on this development on the AM show, the executive director of the Kufuor Foundation, Professor Bafo Agyemangua, says the chieftaincy institution remains a relevant institution in our democratic dispensation. Professor Agyemangua said it is an entity that needs to be accorded the needed respect.
We live in two worlds, Africans, Ghanaians in particular, and in this particular case. But what you have to recognize that democracy gives us certain liberties that are universal, and that must be respected by all. And as Professor Gajepo rightly said, the media is the fourth estate in our constitution, and nothing should be done to cripple that estate because it's the most powerful means for people to express themselves. At the same time, it's also important to note that if you are properly brought up in our society, you have to know how you speak. In our democracy, people stand anywhere and insult a president. Akufo-Addo, Kufuor, Rawlings, Atta-Mills, Mahama. We insult them. And because we have a freedom of expression. But our culture and tradition also teach us that there's a better way of talking to our elders. Whether people who are highly educated today think that that is no longer necessary, then that's a different story. Because our existence as Ghanaians is rooted. If you are from the north, from the east, from the west, from the central part, you are rooted in something, what I call the primordial existence. So despite all the intellectual sophistry that we can all engage in about democracy, modernity, and all that, the bottom line is that if you are summoned today by your chief, your response will be dramatically different from when you are summoned by your MCE or DC or your minister.
Now let's take you to Kumasi now. As management of Oyerepa FM meet with chiefs at Menchia Palace, Nana Ojima joins us live with more. Nana, what can you report?
About 30 minutes ago, the meeting commenced, and we had management of Oyerepa FM coming along with some leadership of the Methodist Church, including former Peace Council Chair, Most Reverend Emmanuel Asante, among others. And also they were led by a representative of the Askorima Mponhene, who is also part of the Asanteman Traditional Council. Now, the representative of Askorima Mponhene stood on behalf of Oyerepa FM to plead with the traditional authority to forgive them. And he also went ahead to outline some of the measures that the Oyerepa FM, that's management, has put in place to ensure that such incident does not repeat itself. Now, from there, we also had the former chair of the Peace Council also coming in to add his voice to the pleas. And he also pleaded on behalf of Oyerepa FM, insisting that they put in place stringent measures to prevent repetition of such an incident. Now, immediately he finished, it was thrown onto the floor for the various heads of various divisions in the traditional system to also have their take. And all the chiefs that, out of the 12 chiefs, about 6 chiefs have spoken so far. And all these chiefs also have added their voices to the pleas for Oyerepa FM to be forgiven, and also granted the permission to go back and open their radio station for business to commence. So so far, it looks like the members of the Kumasi Traditional Council have seen some wisdom in what Oyerepa FM today came here to do. And over the weekend, closure of their radio station, what it means towards ensuring that they plead with the traditional authority. So therefore, the traditional authority is yet to take a conclusion. But from how the negotiations are going, it's likely that they will be forgiven and made to go back.
Nana, we're also aware that the GJA had to meet with the chiefs. What's the status of that meeting?
So the GJA is there to appear before the traditional authority. But some information that I've received so far is that the GJA before this meeting were in a secret meeting with the traditional authority. But we are yet to get any updates on what is exactly transpired within the meeting. But I'm also reliably informed that before the GJA made an appearance here at the Menchia Palace, the chiefs were not happy with the press release that the GJA had brought out earlier, because they believe that if the GJA would want to take any step on this issue, they should have consulted the traditional authority and listened to their side of the story before going about or going ahead to issue a press and release. So they are yet to be called in public, but I have some information that before now they met the traditional authority.
The main character in all of this is also Akwesi Adai, who is also known as Odike. What about his meeting with the traditional council too?
I haven't cited Mr. Akwesi Adai here at the Menchia Palace, and I haven't heard anybody here mention his name. But the information that I received yesterday is that the traditional authority within his hometown called the family of Mr. Akwesi Adai for them to go ahead and invite and tell him that the Menchia Palace wants Mr. Akwesi Adai. But I also have information that Mr. Akwesi Adai is not ready to make an appearance at the Menchia Palace until the chiefs go ahead and reverse some traditional some customs that were made to punish him here at the Menchia Palace.
All right, thank you very much. Nana Aljuma is our man on the beat there.